everyone, and thank you for joining me here on Songbird Collage Arts. So today we're going to be making a collage. This is intended to show you the process that I go through to make my art. So what I have here is an 8 by 10 inch canvas panel. It's just a hard primed panel, and I have a pair of shears, scissors. I only use these for paper, only for collage, and these are just an Amazon basic brand. And then I have my Elmer's washable school glue stick. This is the purple stuff so that I can see where I'm gluing. And I also have a artist blade for trimming off the canvas when we're done. The only other thing is a cutting mat that I use when I'm cutting the edges off, and a whole ton of magazines. So because of the COVID and the fact that a lot of the recycling centers in my city are closed down, I'm really conscious about making sure that I save all of the scraps from all of my projects. So unless there's no reusable colors or images on the scrap of paper, I try to keep it all. So as you can see, I've gathered and accumulated a whole bunch of scraps. So even though I have a whole bunch of magazines here that I can choose from, what I'm going to start with today is just looking through the scraps that I have to see if there's any potential to build out a collage. So as I mentioned in previous videos, I don't have any preconceived plans or ideas or notions coming into a collage. It is literally a blank slate, a blank canvas, and I just am at the whim of my creativity. So let's just see what comes out. So when I'm collaging, I'm not looking for anything specific. I'm more looking for interesting colors, interesting textures. Yeah. People have told me that I tend to have like kind of an animal style or animal themes and stuff, and I love animals, so it's not surprising to me that I gravitate towards that. But really, I'm really interested in colors and textures and different patterns and shapes and styles. So yeah, just trying to find things that are unique and interesting to me. I love watches, but I recently did a watch piece, so try something a little bit different this time. I really like this color, and I like the texture of the succulent, so I think I'm gonna go with that. So again, what I'm looking for is interesting colors, interesting textures, patterns. I'm also looking for things that are easy to cut out, but I'm really digging this color. We're in fall right now and coming into the Christmas time period, and you see a lot of those berry tones. So yeah, I'm gonna start looking for things that are similar in shape and similar in color, and keeping an open mind for anything else that may fit in with. This is an old beet chip. So just going through the pieces and seeing if there's anything that I can integrate. Bit of rhubarb there. My organization methods are quite rudimentary. I use old Ziploc bags for all my scraps. If I had more space, I would probably have a bit more of an organization method, but this works for me. I have a pretty limited crafting area, so I can stack them pretty easily and add to them or go through them. I really like the textures in that one. looks like bacon. I somehow almost always have a piece of bacon in my art. I'm not sure. I might be a little obsessed. Berries. Sometimes you find a lot of stuff when you're sifting through your scrap stash, but sometimes you don't find very much, so it's all luck of the draw. And kind of the direction that you see yourself going. Oh, found another beet chip. Some lips in the right color. Sort of sift through. Flip it over to see if there's anything interesting. Love the beets. Oh, there's some more meringue. Matches that. A bit more bacon. More meringue still. I'm seeing a theme here. Oh. I must have had an idea with meringue previously that I never followed through with. All right. There's a bit of similar colored paper there. All right. So that's one pile of scraps that I've carefully examined. I'm not really making much of a dent in the in the scrap pile, but again, I'm really frugal and thrifty and environmentally conscious too. Like, I don't want to use new magazines if I have a whole bunch of scraps that I can use up. Oh, I like this rhubarb too. Oh, finding stuff all over the place. Cherry. So before I get into sorting through another stack, I'm going to just take a quick second here to see what I already have. So I'm thinking maybe some bacon accents in whatever design I decide on. I'm feeling the bacon. I'm liking the beads. I could always have like a pile of beets here with greens shooting off, or the meringue is interesting as well. definitely feeling the meringue. The beets, I may not want green in this. I'm having second thoughts about that. I do really like this one, so we'll keep this. Just thinking. Some pieces of windows. Okay, so far, what I really like, I like a lot of the stuff I collected, but I'm really digging the meringues. So I think I'm gonna build like a meringue sort of landscape in this area here. Layer some of this colored foliage. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I may not use the beet chips either. The thing I could remind you about the way that I approach collage is, number one, there's no mistakes, and number two, you can create on the fly. You know, you don't have to have a plan of action as you're going. Part of the fun is just sort of letting your imagination take you places and allow your creativity to just flourish. I'm just cutting out. I'm being pretty precise, not obsessive about it, but I do want to have those clean lines as much as I can. Oops. These scissors are only used for collage and they're very sharp, so I tend to get pretty good lines when I'm not super shaky. But today seems pretty good. So do you guys use scissors, or do you prefer to use an artist's blade? My hands are way too shaky to use the artist's blade for most of the large cuts. If there's something I really, really want to integrate into the collage and it has, you know, some negative space or something that I want to trim out, I'll pull out the artist's blade, but for the most part, I just use scissors. And you have to excuse my voice. I perpetually have laryngitis, pretty much. I just have a lot of allergies, so my apologies. Okay, and since I know that I'm going to be using the meringue, I'm going to trim those off now. I'm eyeing those windows over there while I cut. I'm thinking I might try to integrate those as like kind of a portal to somewhere, or like a secret door to, like, I don't know, a garden or something. What I can also do when I finish going through the scraps is go back to some of my cooking magazines and see if I can find any more meringue, because it would just add more depth and dimension to the foreground of the collage here. not being super precise. It's pretty jagged as it is, so I can kind of fudge the cuts on big blobs of meringue like this. I'm told that it's sometimes nice just to hear me cutting and tearing and gluing. So I actually put up an ASMR video a couple of weeks ago that was well received. Everyone seems to like that, the sound of the cutting, so anytime I can just let the scissors do their work, I will. All right, so that's sort of where we're at now. So I do have some other items over here that I may add in, even just to cover up some of the white space there. But yeah, I don't have a clear direction yet. I'm still thinking about what I can put over here. Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep looking through the scraps and see what we can find. I really like these. Not exactly the same color, but I think it'll add some dimension in through there. Still has the green on it. Not totally convinced I want green in there, but we will see. Thing is, I don't know what it's going to look like once I cut it out, because I'm going to lose all of the, unless I use gray as the background. I think I'll pass on that one. Dilemma. This kind of looks like meringue in a weird way. Maybe keep that aside. I'm attracted to the lines on this. It's an interesting contrast to the swirl type look. I'm kind of digging it. Kind of digging it. Okay, I kind of like that. I'm kind of thinking of different shades of white and brown. Let's see here. Again, things are evolving minute by minute here. Kind of like his shirt. I don't know what's going on yet. I'm still just picking out things that I think are kind of cool. Cool looking. Directions may definitely change. Lots of thinking going on at this point. This is actually my favorite part of the process because you're kind of at the whim of your creativity. I really like this color, kind of complementing the succulent. I keep that here. So I'm constantly on the lookout for colors and textures. Ooh, I like the grapes too. I like this shape and this color as well. Sort of looking at the gray. Sort of looking at the gray tones in the wall. So I'll probably build out some sort of cluster of burgundy with cool, I don't know, cool elements popping out here and there. I might as well just trim this off. So I'm just going to trim off the lettering. I want to keep the lines intact as much as I can because that's all part of the visual interest, right? It adds dimension to the composition. And then I remembered that I have these doors here. And this kind of has like a window too, so I'm gonna see if I can work those back in. Glad I hung on to those guys there. So I'm just gonna trim off, but try to leave as much of the window as I can. When you're doing it with scraps, crafting with scraps too, it looks very disheveled, but I do have kind of an idea of what I'm going for. Well, that's a lie. I don't actually know what I'm going for. It's more just, I like this kind of angular stuff happening. What I might do is try to repeat the vertical lines, or sorry, the horizontal lines going up this way, possibly mirror it going that way. So I have a lot of ideas brewing right now. So just like a clump of purple interest. I'm looking at this light fixture, and I'm wondering if to fill out this space I can do kind of spears of light fixtures or like gold colored lighting, and then repeat kind of the angular pattern up over here. Let's see, so I have these windows here. Oops. I might be able to find windows that match better. But I don't mind the contrast because the wood tones match the burnt sugar swirls in the meringue here. I could even do multiple windows in through here. Just kind of build out like a mosaic of windows. That might be cool. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm having fun so far, so I hope you're enjoying the creative process and how I kind of approach the collages with no real plan. For me, the most fun part of the process, other than of course the creativity, is just not really knowing what it's gonna look like when you're done. You know, starting with a blank slate, and then an hour later you look at it and you're like, wow, what was I thinking? What was on my mind when I made up this weird thing? So these are interesting. I really kind of like those. I'm definitely intrigued by these. What I'm thinking is, because it's gray, I might be able to just make a gray kind of background. Let me just think before I spend the time doing that. So what I'm thinking is, so all this will be trimmed off eventually. Trim off around the big bubble. Keep these ones here. Add some more light fixtures and some more windows. I'm gonna go for it. Sometimes you kind of just have to look at it and go, you know what, it's gonna look weird, but I like weird. I like making things that are just strange and unusual, but interesting and fun and creative. Circles are the hardest, which is why I'm only going to do a half circle, cut over, and just keep on cutting, because I don't want to deal with any of that. So I'm going to make a stylistic decision that I'm going to seek out light fixtures with gray background, so that I can kind of build out this section here without having to do too much work. Well, that looks all crooked. Let me just fix that. I don't know, maybe it's stage fright, trying to cut circles when you're on camera. All right, I think that looks really cool. Okay, so I'm gonna take this kind of idea and just walk you through what I'm thinking. So if I can find more meringue, I'll just build up the layers of meringue here to give kind of texture to this front area. I'm looking for more things, preferably not a banister, but something that has horizontal stripes that I can integrate to carry this line through to the corner. I'm also looking for maybe some more of this purple tone to kind of build out the petal effect here. Looking for more windows here. If I can find windows, better windows that match these, I will get rid of those and trade them for ones that match so that I can kind of build that out. And then I'm also looking for any light fixtures, preferably round, because I want it to offset the squares in this other corner and then kind of mirror the swirliness down here. If I find any gray illuminated orbs anywhere, I'm gonna just kind of layer them as bubbles. So that's my plan. I don't know how we got here. I don't know why we got here, but this is where we are, and I'm excited to see where it takes us. This is interesting too, because I could always kind of do something like that. And that'll help blend in the gray into kind of the more creamy white. That was a good little find there. And it doesn't necessarily have to be more meringue either. It could be things that look like meringue. You never know what you could come across that's like, hey, wait a minute, this looks like something cool. Even this one, again, because it's a light, actually kind of blends into that illuminated look of things. I'm just wondering where I could put it that it wouldn't get lost though. Yeah, I might save this one for later. There's a lot of action going on here. Oh yeah, I wanted to put bacon in there. Give me the bacon, where's it? I might have to just not put the bacon in. It's unfortunate. So I'm looking at the orbs thinking it's good filler. Has some interesting texture. It kind of mirrors the other orbs. Still thinking. All right. I think it's coming along. One thing I would say about collage as well is that it doesn't have to make sense. If somebody looks at it and goes like, what is that? Or like, what are you trying to do here? All you have to say is, I like it. It's my collage. They don't always have to mean anything either. They can just be ideas and things that you throw together because you think they look cool. I really like this. Maybe it's like part of the meringue. Or is that totally the wrong color? It's kind of a greeny tone. All right, I think that's pretty much it for this stack. There's some... The only problem with this though is that as soon as I try to cut them out, they won't look like circles anymore. Some of them are just too delicate and small. All right. It's a process. I found a few pieces in there. Not too much, but... Okay, so I'm going to take a look at the collage here and see where we're at. So we have our meringue base. We have this stairway to kind of nowhere. All right, I'm going to trim off some of this stuff so that it looks better. I'm just trying to fudge the edges so that it's not just a straight line. So it looks more like a petal or a leaf. case I have some grapes. Some orbs. Something like that. I'm actually going to trim off this one. And then some sort of windows in here. Something like that. All right, so I'm still on the hunt for some more purple stuff. I want the purple stuff to kind of creep up into this area here. So I need a few more layers. Maybe even coming down a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. I'm looking for more bubbles. I'd like to, this little angular piece here, I'd like to cover that possibly with some bubbles. And then if I can get black and white windows to kind of fill in here, I think that's what we're going for. So because I already know kind of what I'm going for, I'm not going to go through more scraps. I'll save those for another day because I know there's windows in the right color and also lots of really interesting light fixtures. This is actually interesting. These here, instead of windows, I might just do pictures. black and white pictures. They're not really black and white, they're more black and gray. So they really fit in with that other gray side of the room, or whatever that is. I'm not sure if it's anything in reality, really. Okay. Interesting artwork, but it has some strange images in it. Ooh, these are even better because they have the brown in them. Maybe able to do actually like these ones better. You can see the difference in the tone. So you have more of a brownish gold tone and then more of a grayish. So I could potentially integrate them. Maybe that's what I'll do. Okay, these ones I'm going to take out. And then I'm thinking this whole area will be squares. I'll cut them all out and then layer them. So I think that's it for that area there. I did have these, again with the green. I'm just going to do a flip through so I don't have to go through every page. But I'm just looking for some round sort of light fixtures. There might not be. I thought there was some, but okay, so we got all of the pictures out of here, which is awesome. So I'm going to cut those out. And then we'll go on a hunt for more orbs and more purple stuff. Squares are my favorite. They're so easy to cut out. So they're different shades, but the shades are all in the picture, so that kind of works. And even if it didn't work, I'll make it work. Or just say it works, because it's my collage. It's really the best part about being an artist, is just being able to freely express yourself in creative ways. And you know, people are going to have their opinions about the things that you create and what those things mean to them, but the most important thing is what those things mean to you. Cut off a bit too much on that one. This is going to look cool when it's all layered. My scissors are sticking. They only last so long. And I don't usually pay to get scissors that are like this sharpened. It's just cheaper to buy a new pair, but I'll have to look into getting a new set. I have no idea what this picture means or even what I'm going for, but a lot of times I'm just going for interesting textures and patterns and symmetries and just, I don't know, things that look good to me. And what I mean by that is that, you know, I'm not designing anything necessarily. I'm just combining shapes that I like and things that I think contrast in interesting ways, or I don't know, just making something that I think looks interesting. So I was looking for those horizontal lines, but I ended up finding a bunch of pictures. So even though it's not necessarily in line with the horizontal lines themselves, the linear aspect of the frames, as well as the color, right? It's all very similar, so it kind of just cascades into the stairwell. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked with how that's gonna end up looking. And then it kind of just transitions into the bubbles. So I'm gonna go through some home magazines now and see if I can find more bubbles. And then I'll go through some garden magazines and see if I can find some purple flower. like these characters. I think I'm gonna put them into my picture. Why the heck not? They're like little trolls. They're in the right color. They would look funny kind of just sitting on top of the meringue. So I'm gonna go for it. Add a little bit of whimsy to the picture. Okay, I'm gonna cut out these little guys. Can't find any round light fixtures, which is weird. Because I usually, I don't know, I thought I had seen them. But just what I'm thinking is just kind of hiding them maybe behind the little Oop. I'm gonna end up cutting his horns off. Oh, here comes Bella. You guys are in for a treat. She's the best kitty in the whole world. Hey, Bella. Hi, sweetie. Oh, she's out of shot. You can't see her. Hey. What are you doing? Oh. You don't have to have a bath right there. Off you go. There you go. So it kind of blends in. This one horn is just not looking very good. Kind of hide him in behind here because he kind of blends in. And then his little friend I'll pop like right over here. He has smaller horns, so it'll be easier hopefully. And again, I had no idea that I was going to put little horned trolls in my artwork today. It's just kind of at the spur of the moment. You see something cool that has the right colors, a little bit of silliness and whimsy. You just think, hey, I'm going to make this part of my design. I just tied him down there. Hi, kitty. All right. So I'm still on the hunt for a couple things. Thank you for bearing with me. So I'm gonna look for some more round stuff and then some foliage here. Maybe I'm looking for the impossible. I can't seem to find it. Hey, here we go. I'm just gonna see how these look. Where'd the other one go? Just because they have different backgrounds, I just want to see if they'll clean up a little bit. This one looks cool too, but they're way too small. I actually kind of like this glass. out looking at these circles thinking, I like those. Okay, I think I have what I need, I think. Okay. He's here. Oh, Bailey's coming for a visit. Hi, you gonna come say hi? Little muffin? This is Bailey. I have 3 cats. He's quite a sweetie, that one. All right, so I was thinking that this might add a bit of filler, and also its shape works. Don't jump on there. Technical difficulties, sorry about that. They're cute, but they're kind of rascals. So I was thinking, oops. And then the bacon. The bacon's not really the right color. Yeah, I think I'll leave that for now. That's my cat destroying my chair. Like the rascal he is, as I just mentioned. I think we're at the hour when the cats start to get a little batty. Oops. Crap. Well, I accidentally snipped off. Okay, I'll try to hide that one. I'm paying attention. I'm trying to be really diligent, but sometimes your fingers just don't do what your brain is telling them to do. I'm not 100% sure on these. They're the right shape, but they're not actually the right color. These are closer. Trying to keep it circular is always the biggest challenge. I did not bad. Not bad. I like these ones. They seem to work. This one might be too dark. I'm gonna see how it looks. Looks okay, I think. All right, so how much further do I want to go? That is always the dilemma. So it looks like I have pretty good coverage. Looks like everything for the most part is going to be covered. Wondering if I need more in here. I might actually like sweep this down more. My little gnomes here. So now I'm fiddling. So those look kind of cute. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna look for some flowers to fill in just this small area right here. Those are really nice. Bella. So this is a little pinker than the other one, than the other shade, but I think the petals are just beautiful. So I'm gonna go for it. I might actually get rid of this one. know if this one I need any more either. I got a little piece of garlic right there, so. So I'm thinking this is going to go kind of up like that. So that looks quite nice there. All right. Well, I think that I'm pulling the plug, and this is my final design. So I'm going to take a short break, recharge, and when we come back, I'm going to start the gluing. All right, so we're ready to start the gluing. So what I do is I just have a scrap magazine that I use to glue the pieces. And then I have my canvas, and then I have my glue. And I always have a number of different glue sticks as backup. So what I try to do is stick down the items that are in the background first and then layer on top. So as you can see, these ones here will likely go on towards the end. So I'm just going to push those off to the side. This is one of the base pieces, as is this. The little bubbles are going on top. Then I have my little flower bundle here. I'm going to put that to the side. So then I have this piece here and all of my meringue. So the first piece that goes on is this staircase. So what I'm gonna do is, looks like there's about that much space that I need to keep at the bottom so that I have enough image to go around. So I'm just going to block off. Sorry, I kind of sort of the area here. Just because of the way that these boards adhere, I found that I have to put a base of glue onto the board itself. It just makes it stick a little bit better. And then of course I will cover this one in glue. I really like the purple glue sticks because you can see where you've glued. Sometimes it gets kind of sticky. I mean, it's glue, but sometimes it gets globby is what I mean more. So yeah, sometimes that can be a challenge. So what I'm trying to do is line up these lines perpendicular to, or parallel to this line here. So that looks pretty good. And then I just burnish it down. Sometimes I don't do a great job at the burnishing. The last piece I did had a lot of wrinkles in it, but we do our best and try to make do. All right, so the next one I have is this one here, but I also have this piece that I want to incorporate. So I want to try to find where this one can live. So it looks like something like that. So that's going to go down first. I hope that's in the right spot. We will soon find out. That's the thing about collage, is there's no hiding from your art. All right. So we have this guy here. It's a little off, but it's close. And then we have these bubbles here. So just trying to measure approximately where this is going to go. This is what I mean by gloppy. Sometimes it just, part of it's just me, I think, sometimes, but there we go. Make sure the lines are going up and down as much as I can here. What I like about this too is that these lines are in contrast. So there's a lot of linear elements as well as the globular stuff, which I think is pretty cool. So then I have my bigger bubbles, and I guess that does kind of work with the, we'll make it work. So just add that to the next layer. All right, so that's a lot of our base already happening. So these ones I'm gonna fill in through here, so I will do that probably last. These ones are also overlaying, so those will go on last as well. On my meringue, I have kind of these over pieces, the little gnomes, and this big base piece, but then I also have these flower bits that were acting as kind of the outline for that big flower. So something like that there. There we go. So there's our base layer of flowers. So then I'm going to do another little base of the grapes. Okay, so my next step is this big meringue. So I'm actually going to just trim off this one edge, make it straight, so that I can line it up down at the bottom here. All right. Wish that crease wasn't there, but I mean, get really nitpicky, but it should be okay. Okay, just trying to find the coolest looking way that I can put that in there. Put my little gnome guy. I don't like how different these two colors are, so I'm going to put the little troll over top to try to hide it. Being creative with illusion here. And his horns even look kind of like part of the swirl. Totally unintentional, but sometimes you get lucky. I'm going to add the other meringue on top. This glue stick's pretty much dead, but I'm cheap, so I'm going to keep on trucking. Frugal, not cheap. So yeah, like weird things end up popping up in your collages. Like I never expected it to look like this, but as it's going, I'm really liking how it's looking. So that's really encouraging for me. I like that aspect. All right, so I'm gonna add the other troll maybe down over here. All right, time to give it. Oh no, he's stuck. No, come on, little guy. You can make it. That's always like a major bummer when you lose something that you want in your picture. All right. Now I'm going to take the other piece of meringue and get this all up in. Ew, what is that? Okay, I have to do emergency surgery on this piece of meringue because I ripped it and I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, we kind of saved it. Oh boy. There we go. The thing with glue is that everything sticks to it, so it's a challenge. What's interesting too now is because of the color gradient and the fact that there's a shadow back there, the perspective is that these two little dudes are kind of behind a wall, which I mean, I think looks pretty cool. And they're kind of like the gatekeepers to this upper floor. It's kind of funny how things work out. just for something a little different. I always like hiding little elements where it's like, hey, is that petal an onion chunk? Hey, that totally is an onion chunk. All right, I need to take a break to wash my hands. Okay, so the next area that I'm going to fill out is all of the squares. I'm going to get a brand new page so I can start gluing, and I'm just going to piece them on with no rhyme or reason, really, just in orientations that I think look good. Kind of a pain because I had to use the glue to stick it down, but it's also really sticky. So my fingers are getting kind of coated here. I want to try to get things as straight as possible because it's all about the parallelisms, so to speak, of all of the different shapes. So I wouldn't want to put, well, I mean, I could potentially have put them like this to line up with this line, which may have been a bit more interesting now that I think about it. But I opted for going at 90-degree angles. There are no mistakes. And like any artist, you're always thinking about what you could have done differently or to make an image look better. Oops. That's sticky. Yeah, no necessarily, sorry. There's not necessarily a rhyme or reason to where I'm putting these, but I am being conscious about the composition. I want it to look structured. I want there to be depth of tone and color. I want all the angles to be at 90 degrees. So I'm paying attention to how I'm orienting things, but I'm not, yeah, I'm not too fussed about it. I like how things are turning out. I think it looks pretty sweet. So one of the things I want to make sure that I do, and don't forget, is to cover up any writing. I tend to not favor having any writing in my work. It's just a stylistic choice. I prefer images. And this one big ball can cover up the whole lot. That's perfect. I just want to make sure that, again, that the line is all going the same way. And try to hang it here so it looks like it's dangling off that string. Be pretty cool. And this one I think I'm going to just hang right down there. All right, so that's my finished collage. So what I'm going to do now is give it a trim and yeah, sign off. This one I think took me about 2 hours. I think it's slower because I'm talking while I'm doing it. When I'm normally doing it on my own, you kind of get into the zone. It's very meditative, so time seems to go a lot faster. So I just take the blade and score the edge. And this just makes for a nice clean cut. Oops. And most of the time I dig right into the canvas is kind of my thing. So if you ever see a collage with a big gouge out of the back, you know that it's one of my originals. And the last side here. There we go. All right, so what have we ended up with here? Well, it looks like a, I'm not quite sure. A little fort of meringue with some little creatures here. Nice little burst of color, some hangly dangly orb things, and a whole bunch of pictures. And a stairway or a something leading upwards. Well, I hope you enjoyed this adventure with me. It's always fun just starting with a blank slate and seeing where your imagination takes you, and I hope that through my videos and watching my creative process that you're learning some stuff and you're experimenting on your own with collaging. It's a really fun hobby. And I hope you grab some scissors, some paper, and some glue and get creating your own little masterpiece. Until next time, thanks for joining me on Songbird Collage Arts.